Right, let's look at a quick way to control the motor by switching it on and off. A very quick switch that we can make from all the existing parts. And then in the next vid, we'll look at making a proper little card switch. So the problem is, we know that if we touch the battery connections, then the motor spins. And if we don't touch, then it doesn't spin. So electricity off, electricity on. That's all we've got to achieve. So let's look at the actual model. So here it is. We know electricity on off. All we've got to do is make the paper clip touch the end of the battery. Now that one, yeah, that one's touching there. So if this one touches, there we go. Now it's rather fiddly, no doubt about it. It's quite secure when it's there, but getting your fingers in it to move it is rather tricky. So let's modify this in order to improve its operation. So first of all, we've got to be aware of the battery has a little bump on the end, and that's usually the plus, and then a flat on the end, and that's the minus of the battery. And the plus and the minus determine which way around the motor goes. Worth trying that one. If you swap the battery round or swap the wires round, motor goes forward, motor goes reverse. That's for another day perhaps. But let's modify this little paperclip switch idea straight away. Very, very quick to do as well. Now, you've probably noticed that the little battery is recessed a little bit down the hole. And for our little modification, we need the end with the bump on it, the plus, to be pushed up a bit more. So finger in the back there, push it up. And there's now prominent, look, is the bump on the end of the battery, the plus end. So we're going to modify that paper clip so that it touches or doesn't touch in an easier way. But what about this one? Because we've pushed that battery down the hole, it's harder for this one to make contact. So let's do a quick modification of this. So what we need to do is make it sort of an earphone shape. You see what I mean? So I'll bend it so that it's got quite a severe little bend in it there, almost 90 degrees, and now it'll reach down the hole a bit better. So let's just reposition it. Now we've switched on straight away, but we know that this end's working properly. So let's concentrate on the other end. Now for this one, we're going to take it out completely. So I'll just pull through a little bit of the wire. We're going to pop off the fastener. Remember, you've got to have this tiny little bit of bare wire sticking out of the end of the sleeve, otherwise we'll end up pushing the wire back through. And the way we modify the fastener is just by opening it out. So if we open out the fastener like that, right, now we're going to put the longer prong back down inside the sleeve. There it goes. And this means that we've got a much bigger piece of metal, a much longer piece of metal sticking out. So let's just make sure that there we are, there's the end of the battery. So now let's look at putting this back under the elastic band. And does that make it any easier? Well, at first you think, well, no, because I've got to grab, why don't we just bend this up a little bit like that, look. So now you've got this little tag to hold on to. And when we move it backwards and forwards, left to right, across here, on, off. So we've made a very, very simple on-off switch. Sometimes by moving the position of this elastic band, it can improve things. Give that a quick try and move it back a bit. There it goes. So there we are in the off position. Turn it sideways so you can see that. And the elastic band isn't pulling it down enough. Let's move it back. There we are. Off, on. So that's a very, very simple modification to make the switch on and off. And that's just a bit easier for us to operate, especially when you think we might add bits to this and you've got to be able to get your fingers up close to it to turn it on and off. So first mod done, we'll move on to the second one in the next vid.